Let's get ready
Avoid a lawsuit!
Okay, I couldn't even start it. God damn it.
You cannot, I'm sorry, but you cannot say that phrase. Michael Buffer is incredibly litigious when it comes to use of his license. Hello everyone, it's the Big Cat Aethercast.
I am Rei.
I am Leo, and we're here to talk about Post Dawntrail content, specifically the Arcadion and patches 7.1 to 7.3.
I will note that we have actually officially gotten Leo completely current. He has gotten through 7.4.
I am through 7.4. I am at the latest stage of the Alliance raids as of time of recording. And so basically this is the first time I have ever been current with content.
So, how does it feel?
Melancholy. I don't know what else to do aside from grind up classes and gill at this point.
I mean, yeah, that kind of happens, especially considering we kind of got you through most of the stuff that you can do. So the only thing you can do now is grind for tomestones and upgrade your gear.
Or, start Boja.
Oh boy, is Boja even still kicking at this point?
The only reason I even care is because I found out that there's apparently a extreme trial that only occurs in Boja.
Oh yeah, it's a fight against Varus.
Yes, it's a flashback fight against Varus. But
yeah.
But
and it's also how you get dyeable versions of the Shadowbringer's relic gear.
Yep. But aside from just that being the largest hurdle, I basically started going back and grinding up a lot of my other classes. I presently have Viper and Dark Knight to 100, and now it's a race for third place between Red Mage, Astrologian, and Paladin.
Oh yeah, oh boy, getting your healers up for Dawntrail is going to be a treat.
Yeah, we definitely did some grinding a couple of weeks ago that wasn't too bad with me getting Astrologian up to, I think, Skydeep Cenote?
Yeah, we got the Skydeep Cenote, so
yeah.
It's not too bad yet. Again, the thing that I'm worried... Doing Dawntrail dungeons as a healer has never been difficult for me. It's been a little bit frantic, but I will say that it's the raids that terrify me.
Yeah, we did not do any raids when we were doing the grind fest. Although I will also say that at this point in the in my experience with 14 is now when I'm starting to feel the wear and tear on Astrologian.
Yeah.
So definitely probably looking into either doing Sage or starting from the bottom and grinding up White Mage.
White Mage is fun. It's definitely the most basic of healers.
Yes, but they can stun trash mobs like nobody's business.
Yeah, that's the fun part. You can just stun an enemy, wait for about 6 seconds, see if you need to do anything, then cast another one.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We have also had some patch content drop. We did we do the Valentine's Day event or the Valentine's Day event before the last podcast?
I don't. Well, no, we didn't do the Valentine's.
Okay, so Valentine's, we have done Valentine's, so one of the things I will say about the holiday events this time around is that they're actually getting a little bit more involved with them.
Yeah, there's actually instances for all of them.
And so the first two, the first one is a 4-player instance in which basically you're playing a giant freaking Mario Party game.
Of building cakes
with certain themes while avoiding mammoths that will freeze you in place because they don't want the cakes to be made due to a malfunction.
Yes.
The second one is sort of
The second one was Little Ladies Day.
Little Ladies Day, which it seems more like I forgot what the overall events are.
It's a K-pop stand simulator.
I know it's a K-pop stand simulator where you're doing the light stick show, but I was trying to think of... Because it's very small scale. It's all individual for that one.
Yeah.
And then this new one for Hatching Tide is you're basically cutting down weeds in a puzzle-style game where basically the faster and more floors you can clear, the bigger bonuses you get.
I actually cleared it so fast I got over 160.
I believe it. It's really fun, but... I'm very impressed with just the way that Square Enix is making the events feel special.
Yeah, because I'll be perfectly honest. Some of the previous holiday events have been either really sweet for lore-wise or
just
really kind of meh.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
Yeah. Like I remember the what is the Halloween equivalent? All Souls?
All Saints Wake.
All Saints Wake was you like the idea of basically turning the manor from ARR into a haunted house is actually kind of funny. But outside of just using emotes on monster mobs, there wasn't much more that they could have done with it. There wasn't much with that.
Yeah, and all you got from it was a reskinned minion, or not minion, a mount.
Right. Besides that, they did drop a couple of really good items actually in the cash shop. Specifically, I think they dropped 2 armors from Final Fantasy Tactics.
They have dropped a couple of armors from Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, like
Gafgarian's armor is the big one.
Yeah, because you can make the Farah Missoula Knight.
Yeah, because of the fur trim on the armor.
Yeah, the Knights of Faran.
Yes.
Yes. That's Dark Souls if you don't know what it is.
Yeah, we've done playthroughs of that one in the past. But the other big item was the Storyteller sets.
The Storyteller sets. Oh yeah, those are for the Merchant's Tale variant dungeon.
Yes.
Which, the female armor is really revealing.
Even the male pants are really revealing.
Yes, but I've mixed the male top and the female bottoms, and it's made for a very interesting outfit.
Yes, I imagine that it's a big hit in Balmung.
Ha ha ha. Well, we definitely know it's made our friend Louie go fucking feral.
Mm-hmm.
Although that usually happens when I make my Hrothgar shirtless.
Yes, it does. I think that's more or less most of the faffing about, because at this point you and I are more or less in the same area where it's just we're just going through grinding and leveling up. Correct?
Yeah, we're grinding and leveling up. We're trying to get you through all of the role quests so we can actually talk about like the capstone for Endwalker and the capstone for Dawntrail.
Correct. So I'm still working through both of those, but probably get through some of that. We also got news from for foreshadowing the 7.5 patch where the new limited job is Beastmaster.
Yes, well, we've known it was Beastmaster for a while. What we didn't know is if they were going to do Beastmaster and Blue Mage at the same time.
And the answer is disappointingly no.
No, because they had to basically build Beastmaster from the ground up, and that just took all the resources.
So what apparently the way Beastmaster is going to work is Beastmaster is a one man light party.
Yes,
you basically get 3 monsters to pull with you going through dungeons.
Which makes us wonder how raids are going to work with that.
Right.
Is it just going to be 2 Beastmasters with 3 monsters each? Or is it just a light party with 1 beast each?
I think it's going to be what they're going to do is that Beastmasters can solo dungeons, which is they have like what is the Blue Mage variant of like the Eternal Carnival?
The Mass Carnival.
The Mass Carnival?
The Mass Carnival is what they do for their side content.
Oh, okay. Because they're saying that that Beastmaster is gonna have their own variant of that. That's gonna be where they they basically solo the dungeons. Is my thought. And then when you bring them in for actual 4-player, the numbers will be scaled back.
Yeah. Well, basically, the thing that they're doing for Beastmaster, the side content that they can do is Slay the Spire.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever played Slay the Spire?
Yes.
It's basically a roguelike, branching pathways. You'll either get a buff in one area, or you'll have to do a fight in another.
Okay.
And you just keep going down the pathway.
Okay.
So it's a roguelike. So that's that. You can still sync for normal dungeons. Mm-hmm. That's something you can do with Blue Mage as well. But you can only do it as Blue Mage.
Yeah. And also, Blue Mage is still capped at 80, and Beastmaster is going to be capped at 50.
Yeah, which I'm both kind of surprised it's going to be capped at 50, but at the same time, I'm not given the resources.
What they might be doing is that we're putting this out so that way we can test it within ARR safely, and then once we basically confirm that what we have works, we'll go ahead and upscale it, which is probably will come with the new patch, is what I'm thinking.
Okay, yeah, it'll probably come with each following expansion.
Yeah. The other things I know we've heard of, there's been some updates on Mobile 14 that are still kind of being chiseled out. We do know for a fact that we're due for a tank class in the new expansion and melee DPS in the new expansion.
That's the theory at the moment. We won't know until we see Yoshi P's shirt.
Right, and then we can start chattering out. Although I think there's not too many more options. I think as far as either or that like come off the mind. Although we did have a funny discussion about if it was a ranged DPS. I did tell you what my theory for that one was.
What was it again?
Grand Wizard from Final Fantasy X.
Oh, you mean Blitzball?
Blitzball, yes.
God damn.
Because Wakka's unfortunately aged horribly as a character.
No, he's aged perfectly.
You know what? I take it back. You're correct.
Yes.
Okay, so we are doing Arcadion and 7.1 to 7.3. You want to start us off with Arcadion?
Yes. Let's start off with the wrestling gimmick.
So I'm going to let Rei take over a good chunk of the narration as far as the story.
Because otherwise he will not shut up about wrestling.
I will not, but I will jump in and comment about why they made certain characters in a certain way and what are some of the significances going on.
Okay, so the gimmick with the Arcadion is that they're looking for new fighters for the start, and they pin us as a new contestant.
Who pins you?
Medem, the announcer for each of the fights.
I think he is technically the commissioner, because while he does do the commentary for the player, he is at least introduced as the authority figure.
Yes, not the president, but
not the owner, just the commissioner. Which
yes.
basically means he's the one who's organizing shit in the front, and that's important for later down the road.
Regardless, Medem asks us to join in the Arcadion to fight for honor and glory and all sorts of stuff like that, and we are interested because again we're Azem, we like to fight.
Well, also is the fact that the Arcadion they use, because again this is a base, they had just dealt with everything that was going on in Dawntrail.
They are still using souls.
They are still using souls, and although Metim, even though he acknowledges that we won't use souls or regulators, he does allow us to quote unquote use fighter memories of past fighters to basically balance out the fights with the contestants.
He even offers to release the said souls that we use after every victory, so that, and then if we become grand champion, we can get rid of all the souls
within the Arcadion system.
And so we're pinned as the up and coming unenhanced upstart.
Mm-hmm.
And we start off in the light heavyweight division.
Yes.
Which we get introduced to the main characters of Black Cat, Honeybee Lovely, and the Brute Bomber.
Yep. So Black Cat is sort of the friendly rival that we get introduced with.
The rookie.
We get to bond with her a bit more. Honeybee Lovely is a fan favorite, not just because her battle music is so catchy, but because she's a glorified idol.
Yes. And then the Brute Bomber is the classical heel.
The classic asshole heel.
Who uses drugs and enhancements in this fight.
The forbidden monster, as the community likes to refer to as beverage.
Yes, the forbidden monster. But regardless, let's quickly talk about their fights. So first off, Black Cat. You start off in a big arena, and her main gimmick is that she will do big sweeping claw strikes or big pounce attacks. And the main gimmick is that she will destroy her own ring.
And she has a launching attack where based on where you're positioned and where you're facing, you will get launched in the reflected pattern. Basically, you want to launch yourself in a way that you always land on a platform and don't fall through.
Basically, if you land on a platform, it's going to crack. If the platform is already cracked, it's going to break and fall through.
Or you fall through a hole because she, again, breaks the stage as well.
Yes. So that's a pretty fun fight. It's a good introductory stage, a good taste of what's to come.
Yes, because that gimmick becomes more important later on.
Yes.
We also find out that we also get to bond with some of the members, specifically Black Cat herself, her real name being
Yana.
Yana, and Yana even offers to be our second, as she knows the roster of most of the fighters here and is willing to give us insider info about each of them.
Yeah, she wants to see how well we can actually do, and so we take her under our wing, and we end up fighting Honeybee Lovely next.
Oh, Honeybee Lovely. Her gimmick is that she basically has towers that after 3 hits, you are infatuated.
Yeah, it's a charm mechanic.
And you definitely, if you are a tank, you need to know when to take them, because getting hit by her charm means you can't move. Usually when she's winding up
more AoEs,
lines and puddles. And if you are not one of the tanks, you should only getting 2 stacks and running the fuck away.
Yeah. I should also mention that in Savage mode, if you actually get 3 stacks, she starts recovering health. Which actually makes the fight harder. Mm-hmm. Because you're not going to hit in rage. You're going to hit in rage.
But she also is just very popular just because her fan music is equally sweet as the fight is infuriating.
Oh yeah, that song is such a fucking earworm. Mm-hmm. B is for Hootie and Obedient and Sweet. Oh, good lord! It's
starting. It's the earworm is already in your head.
Yes.
But after this fight, we actually
fight against the light heavyweight champion known as the Brute Bomber.
So the Brute Bomber he does a lot of charge mechanics and fake outs.
Yeah, he does a lot of lariats.
Yes, for his basically room cleaves while also moving himself across the map.
He does a near room sweep where he spits poison out. Mm-hmm. He summons bombs with fuses, and of course the short ones will go off first.
What we also forgot to mention is that Medem is actually narrating the fight in real time. He will cheer and show disappointment when the Warrior of Light gets hit by AoEs or dodges AoEs.
Yeah.
He also has different dialogue for when you're down, raised, and when you use limit breaks.
Yes, and they're different for every tier. Mm-hmm. Like he'll say some of the for light heavyweight, he'll say the same thing for most of the dodges and stuff like that. But with each following tier, they actually change the dialogue a little bit.
It's also important to note that in the fight against Brute Bomber, he takes some kind of potion that actually buffs him up. And Medem actually denotes a disqualification for the Brute Bomber mid-fight. Not that it matters, because we're still fighting him.
Yes, he even punches the robot referee.
Yes, and just to follow it out, one of the little robot refs, like the same body that Aaronville's mom was using, is the ref, and they announce the knockout before the fight's over.
Yes. KO.
Yep.
But anyway, during all of this, Yana actually mentions that she has a sister that was in the heavyweight division and was a really talented fighter, but suddenly she disappeared. This becomes relevant when we come in when we get crowned as the new champion of the light heavyweight tier. The Brute Bomber comes in, trying to be the traditional wrestling heel that comes in and tries to go, hey,
to ambush us for a solo fight without using our allies, only to be knocked out by
Eutrope.
By Eutrope, who is Yana's sister. And we are impromptu challenged to a match authorized by the president of the Arcadion.
Yes, because he was very interesting.
Of course, I gave for those of you who are wrestling fans, I did give the president the Vince McMahon voice, which I will tell you, doing that for this guy is a pain in the ass to do.
Yeah,
because if you've ever heard the Vince McMahon impressions, they are gravelly and loathsome. You really have to dig into the back of your throat, because Arcadia is raw.
Take a drink, dude.
Yeah, definitely. So you're put into the final fight for the light heavyweight tier against Eutrope, who is using Ixion of all things.
Yeah, she's using Ixion, and her big gimmick is using Electrope to create either cannons or giant laser wings, among other things.
She also will manipulate the battlefield to where you are forced to one side or the other. and then proceed to go ahead and single target you with the laser cannon because you cannot escape.
Yeah, she will basically do a threefold, fourfold, and fivefold cannon blast that will be alternating, and you got to remember the pattern.
Yes. And it goes forward and back, so you are forced to move properly, or you are going to watch your HP bar melt.
Fun fact, she has a softened rage where she will destroy the platforms and you're stuck in that one little corner again, and then she just keeps firing a constant laser blast over and over and over until the fight's over, which will really test the healer's ability to heal.
And your DPS doing their proper jobs.
Yes. Which thankfully it's gotten to the point where it's not that big an issue. But when it was first starting out, it was very tense.
A party of 3 dancers will not cut it for this fight.
Also, God knows it's happened to me before.
Also, I will mention that I was playing Viper for the first 2 wings. For the third wing, I did Dark Knight.
Yeah, he did Dark Knight, and I was being Warrior all 3 tiers. So I was co-tanking with him for the final tier.
Yes. Although I will say it's a bit different because you were kind of leaning on me a bit for the back in Pandemonium because I was healing for you in that fight.
Yeah.
For those fights. Nonetheless, Eutrope actually doesn't get knocked out when you beat her. She actually retreats. That's the other thing we skipped over. Eutrope appears and challenges the Warrior of Light to a fight. And because at this point we've discovered that heavy soul use?
Well, no, we don't know this at first. After she
she just wants our soul. She just wants our soul to begin with.
Yes, she runs away, and then we go back to the gym that Yana owns, and we try to figure out what's going on. Eutrope actually comes in and explains the situation where the use of feral souls to power themselves up actually causes a disease known as psychonecrosis. And basically, it's a degradation of the soul, and eventually you will die.
Right. And so the only way that Eutrope knows how to recover that is by basically consuming incredibly powerful soul, hence us.
Yes, because our soul is the densest of them all. Eightfold.
Also helping us as a side character is Eutrope and Yana's younger sister, Nayuni, who I have helpfully given a zoomer hacker voice because she and Galulja, basically that's what they do.
Yes. Why are all the kids in this expansion hackers?
Because they're zoomers. And they're...
Oh God.
Did I just make you feel your age?
Yes, because we're fucking old-ass millennials.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think at this point they're Gen Alpha.
Probably something... Yeah, actually, you're right, Gen Alpha. Nayuni just walks us to the Warrior of Light 6-7.
Oh God, no! Don't do that! Don't do that! Oh, what are they?
But we go ahead and we finish the first fight, and
the first tier.
The first tier was we head to the second. Yana believes that it would be a good idea to recruit more fighters to try and not just figure out what to do about psychonecrosis, but also to get more information about the president, who suspiciously has not made any comments about psychonecrosis or about the fighters who allegedly retire.
Yeah.
But it's sort of a cover-up for their psychonecrosis deaths, and decides to seek out someone from Eutrope's past.
Well, actually, at the moment, Nayuni has figured out a way to detect if someone has psychonecrosis.
Oh, yes.
And so she brings in Honeybee Lovely to see if she has the disease, which thankfully she doesn't. And so as a result, Honeybee just says, okay, I'll quit.
Yeah. Yana is also screened for this, and while she's on the edge developing psychonecrosis, she's not there yet.
Yes.
One more use, though, might be it.
Yes.
From
then on, we go and seek out the Brute Bomber,
who is hanging out with his bestest bro and possibly life partner. I forgot what his actual name is.
His name is Retsara, but he's known as the Howling Blade. He is the champion of the cruiserweight division,
and also the baby face of the company.
Yes.
And this guy, this Mother Hubbard, with his heel rival, air quotes, are in an apartment playing with kittens.
Yes, because Brute Bomber is only a heel on screen. Outside of it, he is a very huge softy who takes care of little kittens.
But, yes, he takes care of the little kittens. Because it's Howling Fang, the actual owner, who can get no bitches.
Yeah, Howling Blade cannot get no bitches because Brute Bomber actually says, "Why don't you go back to your woman?" And in which Ritsara says, "You know she left me."
Which is actually because he used to date Eutrope in the past.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, you come off so queer coded. There's no way that Eutrope liked you in any way.
Did you ever see Legally Blonde?
I've seen clips of it.
Do you know about the European or gay bit?
Yes, I know about that because I've seen a Phoenix Wrong animation of it.
Yeah, that's basically what we're doing here with poor Howling Blade here.
Yeah, but regardless, we go to we try to Howling Blade leaves after the whole incident.
After we embarrass them by exposing them for not being manly men.
Yes, and then we basically confirm that Brute Bomber, aka Hector, has psychonecrosis.
Not that Hector cares, because apparently both Hector and Howling Blade both are adopted by the president. And basically he was the one who approached them to give them purpose outside of hunting. And both of them are incredibly loyal. To the extent that Hector refuses any kind of treatment and still intends to fight using souls.
Yes, which sucks, but there's not much we can do about it because he's too stubborn. And after all this, it's then announced that it's time for the Cruiserweight.
And we have the lineup for the 4 Cruiserweight matches. We're actually introduced to the first three members.
Well, we've already been introduced to all of them.
Right.
We were first introduced to the champion, but when we go to the arena, we are introduced to the other two, Dancing Green and Sugar Riot.
Oh boy, those two are real characters.
Yeah, Dancing Green is fun, but Sugar Riot is my favorite fight of this tier.
So, Dancing Green is a disco-inspired Vieira fighter who basically gets what I'm basically calling Rabbit Greninja form.
Yes, he uses a frog.
And he basically has synthwave cleaves that he can basically layer on top of one another in succession.
To the point where the fight is actually to the beat of his attacks.
Yes.
Which is actually really cool.
Yes. He has a Soften Rage where basically he has basically a big finisher attack with a bunch of his Disco Frog backup dancers.
Yes. If you... well, it's not a Soften Rage. It's just a build-up.
But it's funny because if he kills you with that, the music actually cuts out.
Yes. It actually cuts out and the fight restarts, which is really funny.
Yes.
I should also mention that his backup Disco Frogs also wear afros.
Wear afros, yes they do.
And they moonwalk.
Yes. It is kind of funny also that because there is actually a wrestler who has a disco gimmick. I believe his name was Disco Inferno as well.
Oh, really?
Yes. So this is not the first time you've had that kind of crossover in that regard.
Yes. But anyway, Dancing Green is a very fun fight, but Sugar Riot is my all-time favorite fight of the Cruiserweight.
Okay, Sugar Riot. So, Creepy Nuts?
Creepy Nuts mixed with Splatoon.
Yeah, that's basically what happens here. So, her theme is absolutely bombastic, but her main gimmick is that she basically conjures up... She's basically a glorified Pictomancer.
She is literally a Pictomancer who uses a flan or a pudding as her beast soul that she uses, and she just squishes around the arena and causes all sorts of chaos. Like, she will summon bombs, she will summon arrows, she will change the landscape itself from a desert to a river scene, to a flood, to a storm.
And her gimmick is basically she's going to do one thing and then she's going to immediately invert what she does as a trope. So, for example, her first attack is summoning bombs that explode in place with wide AoE effects. Her second attack would be bombs with wings that then fly across the map so they deploy opposite of where they started.
Yes. And then she will do arrows, which will do a crisscross pattern. She will then summon a target, where she will summon arrows again, and they all aim for the target.
Which changes the line trajectory. And so, very, very hectic fight with very frenetic music.
And for the desert, she does a constant dot. She will summon exploding cactuses. For the river scene, you will have to either stand in the water or get out of the water.
To avoid a firestorm or a lightning strike, respectively.
Yes. And then she will summon a an actual downpour where you can't go through the water anymore. You have to use the bridges of the arena and avoid the giant lightning cloud that is moving across the arena. If you get hit by that lightning cloud, you dead.
Yep. So very hectic fights. We're able to talk to both Dancing Green. Dancing Green, who is surprisingly comes off as a sort of hedonistic character, but is like, man, I just want to dance.
Yeah, I just want to find... I'm tired of being the playboy all the time.
Yes, which he admits is an act. And Sugar Riot was, in fact, a street artist that basically got recruited for this, and she definitely would rather go back to working the streets, as it were.
Yes. And so we tell them that they don't have psychonecrosis, and so we convince them to give up their place in the Arcadion. It's at this point that we end up with a strange wrestling promo that happens, where the Brute Bomber is ransacking the soul depository of the Arcadion and trying to get as many feral souls as possible to fight us.
And Medem is on scene recording via TV before he gets his own butt whooped by the Brute Bomber, and an impromptu match is now scheduled.
Yes.
In which we now have to go to one of the other sectors and take him on there, as he is basically overcharging his own soul.
Yes, he's basically become the equivalent of the Orm Vale as a boss fight.
The Brute Abominator.
Yes, which... Oh god, this fight. If you've seen my Let's Play of this, I did not show all the failures, but there was like 7 or 8 wipes to this fight on the first time I was going through it.
So... I know for a fact that I think I died at least 2 or 3 times for that fight.
Yeah.
But basically, it's an enhanced version of his earlier fight, where not only does he have the rushes back and forth, but now he can also launch you, a la Black Cat's attack, except instead of launching you onto a broken stage platform, he's launching you into a new platform.
Into a new arena. The fight starts off with him summoning a bunch of ads, and you have to defeat the ads. He will then do a gaze mechanic where you have to hide behind the bodies. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you get petrified, and if you get hit after you're petrified, you die.
Yes, and then later on, when he does the mechanic, he will consume some of the bodies.
Well, no, he doesn't do that.
No? Okay.
No. He just keeps summoning more and more.
Okay.
But, oh, sorry, I hit the table. But, the thing with this fight is that he does a lot of damage, and he does a lot of attacks again and again and again and again, and it is hell on the healers.
Yeah, you better be using your mitts, too.
Oh, yeah, because, I did not know about the gaze mechanic until I had to look up a guide for the fight afterwards. I was shocked at how bad that I was doing it in that fight, and I managed to still crawl my way through.
You had, of course, you're doing this as soon as it releases, so you're taking it as fresh as possible.
Yeah, which that might be that fight has traumatized me.
I don't blame you, all things considered.
Yeah, but he literally throws you around to a new arena. He then breaks that new arena, and you go to a third arena, to which he does lariats. He summons a sword and a club, which will either do a circle AoE that you gotta get into, or you gotta get away from. He will move from wall to wall to wall, and use lariats and lasers. It is quite the fight. But you end up beating him, and...
Unfortunately, he dead, because he overconsumed souls.
Yes. And a little cat comes in one of his cats comes in to check in on him, and is almost squished by a falling piece of debris, but is saved by Howling Blade, who reveals that he does know that he has psychonecrosis and will still continue the fight regardless.
Yes. And so he is the champion of the... What is it? The
cruiserweight.
Cruiserweight. So he is the final fight at the end of the wing.
Yes. And in order to... we end up trying to convince Ritsara to give up his seat as the champion by literally using Honeybee Lovely's streamer capabilities, because yes, Honeybee Lovely is also a streamer. Mm-hmm. We use her to kind of...
to call him out publicly and basically make him challenge us.
Exactly. And we basically goad him into giving up his championship title, and we kind of gamble our ability as an adventurer to keep going. But anyway, the Cruiserweight Championship. Howling Blade.
Howling Blade, the man who has 2 wolf spirits, a giant mecha sword, and literally looks like he was basically thought up as a 10-year-old's idea of cool.
He is a Fenrir Gundam with both a laser sword and sage bits.
His big gimmick is that halfway he will do his pattern of lines, circles, and strafe mechanics, and then he speeds up.
Yes, he gets faster. His battle is all about speed, but also he hits hard because his Akmorn, his stack attack, is really dangerous because I've seen whole teams wiped to that for not healing properly.
Yep.
He has an ad phase where you have to defeat 2 wolves. It is very, very, very tough. But it's also a very rewarding fight if you know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And you actually did really well on your attempt.
Yes, it was. It was actually surprisingly good.
Which is funny because when I took Lumi through this, we had a nightmarish run through of it. Because I will tell you, I both love and hate Howling Blade's fight because it is very fun and very frenetic. But if you do not know what you're doing, you will. This fight can wipe you.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
So we managed to go ahead and get through the end, but it's at this point that the president is noticing how we're interfering in things by taking his players out of the game.
And so he has kidnapped both Nayuni and Eutrope, who we should mention that Eutrope tried to ambush us.
But what we were defended by Yana, who against medical advice used the feral soul to be able to match her sister.
And so has developed psychonecrosis. So the president has captured both Yana and Nayuni. Eutrope and Nayuni. Who I should also mention that Nayuni at that point had also found out that there was a cure for psychonecrosis found in Lindblum, which was the old kingdom that Alexandria used to be at war with.
Right, called the Tear of Life?
The Drop of Life.
Drop of Life.
Yes, and so basically there's a cure, they just don't know how to do it, but the president knows all about it and says, you, the hero, will keep on fighting per our script. And if you do that, we will promise you the drop of life.
Right. Quit breaking kayfabe, stick to the bit.
Yes.
Is basically what the president says. By the way, the entire time we don't know what the president looks like. He is only announced through speakers and through blank screens, but we don't know what he looks like compared to all the other characters.
Yes.
Which is also which is similar to the Powers That Be, which is considered one of the first plot lines in pro wrestling. In American pro wrestling, anyway, where an authority figure is seen as a villain.
Yes.
But yeah, and I think that more or less covers it. The music for this wing is just almost immaculate. Like, Honeybee Lovely's theme is great. I do enjoy Eutrope's theme quite a bit. But this 4 selection, even Brute Bomber's remix here is really good. All 4 of them just knockout stars, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, Brute Bomber's... theme, Brute Abominator's theme has a cuss word in it.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, which is really funny. But I will tell you, the themes for the Arcadion entirely are amazing.
Like we gushed a little about Pandemonium themes because it was full on like rave rock. This is just all over the place, and it's a glorious medley. Yeah,
which I will also tell you that for the Savage of the final tier of the Arcadion, there is a song. There's a remix of all of the themes into one theme, literally called The Arcadion, which I think I've shown, but basically it uses every single one of the characters' themes within it, which I find amazing.
Yeah.
But we should actually get into that wing now, because we're now in the heavyweight division.
So in the heavyweight division, with everything set out, Rensaro says... You go ahead and deal with the president's plan. I'm going to get everyone else, and we're going to try and free Eutrope and Nayuni.
Yes, we should also mention that at this point, he is also assisted by Dancing Green, Sugar Riot, and Honeybee Lovely to try to infiltrate the Arcadion to try to rescue Eutrope and Nauni.
Yana still remains with us as our second and makes sure that we have a safe spot in her gym.
We should also mention that Dancing Green is actually very familiar with the president, and we actually get a flashback of what the president looks like.
Yes, this is the first time we actually see him when he's like, oh, he's just a normal human.
He's just a normal guy.
Yeah.
And like, really? You're just a normal guy?
Like, when is the last time we've really had that?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we get introduced to the last swath of fighters, and we start off with probably the fan favorite of the high tier.
Femme Fatale. We actually get introduced to her through a promotional video.
In which, basically, Metum goes around trying to go ahead and see everyone's opinions. And there's a lot of Warrior of Light bashing.
Yeah, and he's like, that's weird. There should have been videos of people supporting the Warrior of Light.
Which even Metum admits is not according to the script that he got.
But Femme Fatale, the way she introduces herself, stomping on Metum's foot, then lifting the camera up and saying, "You've been a naughty, naughty boy."
Yeah, I imagine there's a collective repurchase of trousers that occurred after that.
I saw men and women both go feral for this woman.
Simps the lot of you. Simps the lot of you, and no backbone whatsoever. Pushovers.
But she even kisses the camera lens.
But she does stick to her own script, and she basically has her main gimmick is that in addition to, of course, being pleasure and pain themed, she has a roller that will basically be a complete stage. It's a
DPS check.
DPS check that you have to destroy the roller before it destroys the remaining bits of the stage.
Yes. She uses all sorts of torture devices. She will summon... There will be towers later on in another stage where spike balls drop, and you have to destroy the spike balls because they are casting something, and it's going to cause a lot of damage. There'll be rollers and blades spinning all around the arena, and you have to dodge them. Mm-hmm. It is frenetic. And as the fight goes on, she sucks up... She drains the audience.
Of their ether. To which, that is just the choicest use of inflection by Benham's voice actor for that.
Of their ether.
And I will admit that is the exact opposite of how wrestling commentators have been known for their horniness.
Yeah.
There are entire playlists that can describe not just horny commentator moments, but disgusting horny commentator moments because of just how disgusting it is.
Yes.
The 80s were a very different time, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, and as she absorbs more power, her damage increases, and her half-room cleaves become three-quarters room cleaves.
Yep.
And it's a very fun fight. It's probably the fight that I had the most trouble with when it first came out, because the DPS check on that rollerblade at the start was tight. Mm-hmm. So, it's gotten a little better, but it is still tight.
Nonetheless, victory is assured, and unlike the other contestants, both Femme Fatale refuses to join you, as she is fully behind the president and his aspirations.
In fact, every one of the members of the heavyweight division are on the president's side.
Which leads to when we find out that the Tri-Tails gym, where Yuna was hosting us, has been attacked.
Has been attacked by a pair of douchebags.
The Blowjob Brothers!
Yes.
That's not actually what they're called, but the community has dubbed them such, and therefore we need enough yaoi to go ahead and counteract the heteroeroticism of Femme Fatale.
Well, trust me, there's plenty of Yuri with Femme Fatale, too.
Yes.
Especially if you consider her relationship with Honeybee Lovely.
Oh, yes, that's also true, because she definitely wants to go ahead and teach her a lesson.
Yes, but regardless...
The Blowjob Brothers.
The Blowjob Brothers, which are the extremes, Red Hot and Deep Blue.
Deep Blue is the smart, chatty one.
And Red Hot is the dumb himbo. And basically, they egg us on, saying, "You're going to fight both of us. We promise to switch in and out, so it's not 2 against 1."
Which they immediately lie about halfway through the fight.
Yeah, and so we should probably go ahead and talk about their fight.
So, yellow card? What was the one that you said? I said yellow card. You said the other surfer rock band.
Oh,
Crush 40. You were saying Crush 40, weren't you?
Sum 41.
Sum 41, thank you. That's the one that you were
Or
thinking.
if you want to go with the games thing, Sum 14.
There you go. Sum 14, Ocean Card. Regardless, that you will feel like the Surfer Dude Bro vibes from their theme song.
Yeah, like seriously, I was feeling 90s vibes throughout this whole fight.
Oh yeah. So Deep Blue has push mechanics with his waves.
He has his waves. He will then move to one side of the room and do a full wave cleave where you have to go up towards him so you have a safe spot. Red Hot's mechanic is that he leaves puddles of lava that will cause constant damage if you stand in them, and so you've got to basically adjust where you drop the puddles so there's more room for you to fight. And then they will actually use both of their mechanics at the same time, so when water hits the hot spots, they cause a fusion explosion.
I will say, if you had trouble with the freaking Fatale, I had trouble with freaking these two twins. Because remember, at this point in the timeline, I am now tanking.
Yes, I was helping you, and we had to try to keep those two fuckers together.
Yes.
Because that's the main thing. You got to keep them together because in this fight, sometimes AoE attacks work better than single target.
Yes.
Actually, Pictomancer is actually a good fight, one for this fight because all of their attacks, even their single target, have an AoE component to them.
Also, in case you're thinking this is like the normal ones where you go after one and the other, no, they actually do the Bro Fist of Friendship and equalize each other's health. You basically have to beat them at the same time.
Yep. It's kind of like the Ifrit and Garuda fight in Eden, although I think this one is done way better than that fight.
They took whatever feedback they got from that boss fight and says, not that shit again.
Yeah, so this one was a much more fun fight. It's a little frenetic, and I have gotten close to wiping on this fight a couple of times, but it is very fun in my opinion.
I have done this one outside of you, and I will tell you there are some stupid-ass tanks that do not know you need to position them to the outside, not the inside, because that makes the fight infinitely harder.
Yes.
So by this point, we go ahead, we beat the Blowjob Brothers at their own game, and we managed to go ahead and proceed onward
to the grand champion of the heavyweight and the Arcadion in general, the Tyrant, who introduces himself by defeating Red Hot, Deep Blue, and Femme Fatale.
Who all were going to try and ambush us after we had just finished fighting the Blowjob Brothers.
Yes. So he takes care of them using a scythe, an axe, and a greatsword.
Yep, it's Ventus all over. Not Ventus. I forgot the name of the 15 protagonist.
Noctis.
It's Noctis all over again.
Yeah, so this guy was a renowned hunter who became the grand champion of the Arcadion. He introduces himself by giving us the grand history speech of the Arcadion.
He is giving the rock while he is voice acted by Urian J.
Yeah.
How wild is that?
Well, no, the Brute Bomber is voiced by Urian J.
Okay.
No, I don't know who the voice actor for the Tyrant is, but he definitely seems a lot more refined than he comes off.
He also he's wearing the heavyweight gear, but he actually it legitimately
he's wearing the light heavyweight.
The light heavyweight gear, but it legitimately looks like wrestling wear, whereas everyone else mostly matches their gimmick. Red Hot and Deep Blue are in surfer wear. Femme Fatale is full dominatrix. The Dancing Green is in full disco. Sugar Riot is in her urban wear.
Yeah.
Brute Bomber looks like he just walked out of a battlefield. The only one who looks like remotely and of course Honeybee Lovely has her bee dress that makes her look like an idol.
Yes.
And so the only ones that look remotely like normal are Eutrope and Yana respectively.
Well, yeah, but they're still in basic Solution 9 gear.
Yeah.
But regardless, the Tyrant, as he's known, introduces himself, gives his rousing speech, and then we go back to the gym, and we find out that the gang has actually rescued Neuni, who actually managed to hack into the system and find out which soul the Tyrant is going to be using.
Because he doesn't usually stick with one, he actually uses multiple.
Yes.
But for our fight, fate has intervened once again.
To make us have to fight the thing that we helped create.
The Behemoth.
The Behemoth.
It's also worth pointing out at this point that he is riding Super Saiyan style on top of a floating hot rod.
Which turns out to be the extreme mount.
Which is the extreme
The
mount.
savage mount.
The savage mount, there you go.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we are forced to fight him, and boy howdy.
Yeah. His battle theme really feels like a wrestling thing to me.
It does.
Yeah, like, I don't watch a lot of wrestling. I've seen few clips of wrestling. Most of the wrestling I've seen has been when this fucker over here has taken me to conventions and we see local performances.
Yes, and those are not like super big performances, but you can still, everyone thinks of like golden era / attitude era when they think of wrestling. The 90s era is usually what most people think of. This is pure 90s wrestling right here.
Oh yeah. And so the Tyrant's mechanic is very much Behemoth in general. His first gimmick is testing us by using his different weapons. His scythe will be a donut that you have to get into. His axe is an AoE that you got to get away from. And his greatsword is a plus attack that you got to get to the corners of. He will then start doing them one after another. And then he will start using Charybdis, which will knock your health down to 1. You got to recover all the way to that. He will then start enraging, and then comes the meteor drops.
Yep.
The meteors drop down in towers, and then the tanks have to go to tank busters that are tethering to the meteors to protect the meteors that have fallen down.
So that way you can hide behind them before the actual one drops.
Yes, before he does the meteor dive, which is not just one, but you have to hide behind 2 rocks that are lined up perfectly. So that's why you've got to protect them.
It's absolute wild spectacle.
And then he splits the arena in half. And so there's a whole bunch of meteors going off. There's towers they have to soak it's basically like Diamond Weapon, where you soak the tower and you get hopped off to the other arena. You get knocked around.
And then he beats one stage with another stage.
He takes one arena, so you've got to make sure that you're not on the arena that he is facing. You hop off, get off of that arena. He grabs it, lifts it up. If you're on it, you're dead. And he slams it into the other arena. To which then the arena itself returns back to normal. And after that, I feel the fight's pretty easy.
Yes, but it is a hectic race.
Yeah. Oh.
After all of that, we're still technically not done because, again, he was just the heavyweight champion. We still have to actually meet the president to get the fucking drop of life from him.
Yes.
To which he basically tells us, you're just going to have to come down to the bottom of the arena, aren't you?
Yeah, you're just going to have to come...
Come and take it, jerk.
Yeah, come to the top floor and see what awaits you. To which, the biggest left turn I've ever seen in my life...
No, we call that a swerve in the business.
A swerve?
It's a swerve.
The biggest swerve in the business is that he is actually a giant lizard monster, a giant dragon.
No, he's a lindworm.
He's a lindworm from Lindblum.
So, the president reveals all explaining, yes, I know about the drop of life. The drop of life can only be made from...
Well, he doesn't reveal anything. If you want the drop of life, you have to defeat me.
Okay. So now I get to go ahead and do my own little rant here at this point.
Yes?
Because when this patch dropped, when I was still in Dawntrail, I didn't know I had only heard probably Honeybee Lovely's theme.
Yeah.
And that's basically all I knew about the Arcadion.
Yeah.
I saw some of the memes, but of course they didn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
When they announced 7.4 for to finish off this quest line, they announced that they got fucking Tom Morello to do the final stage theme for this, which is Everything Birds.
Yep.
It got released on Spotify and it fucking did numbers. I heard this music and holy shit, this was incredible.
Yes.
And apparently, so it's Tom Morello and like the lead singer of Beartooth, which is another rock band that I've never heard of. But the reason this came together is because both the singer of Beartooth and Tom Morello both play D&D together, and they both play Final Fantasy XIV.
No. They play with the lead singer of the Primals, who is the Primals is the Final Fantasy XIV team.
Okay. Who said they play through him, and he's like, hey, you guys want to do a song for us? It's like, shit, sure.
It's more like the singer of the Primals told Tom Morello that Yoshi P loves Rage Against the Machine, and so they just made a song for him and said, you know what? Take it, do with it whatever you like. I won't even claim copyright on this shit.
Wow.
It's all yours. And I cannot tell you the joy on Soken's face when he mentioned this was immaculate. He was the happiest man I've ever seen in my life.
I will say, like, if you've never looked into Rage Against the Machine as, like, a band, they are, like, a movement also. Like, Tom Morello says a lot of shit that you look back and are like, this dude knew what was coming before we knew it.
Yes.
Like, because he was protesting Bush shit way before we knew what we were getting into. And it's like, oh, he knew what exactly was coming on the fucking horizon.
And apparently people are surprised about this shit.
Well, they're surprised because it's either him or Zach De La Rocha, who you used to be bandmates with. One of them's South African. That's why it's like fucks with people. And so they're like, well, shouldn't he be playing for No, he understands where he's from. He's educated.
Yes.
He understands where the fuck this is going. He fully understands. So that's Tom Morello, and if you've like heard like I'm trying to remember what song. You remember that gossip song that I sent you a while back for a character reference?
Yes.
Tom Morello is also a featured guest artist on that song because his guitar is so fucking
iconic.
Iconic. Like, the dude does wonders with guitar. Anyway, needless to say, not only is this a song for the Arcadion Wing, the final stage of the Arcadion Wing, it's our song.
It's our song. It's not the final boss's theme. It's our theme.
It's Maker's Ruin 2.0.
Yes. Everything burns, bitch, and you're going down. So the Lindworm. This fight is kind of gross.
It is. So basically, aside from the fact that it has a regenerating gimmick, it doesn't really regenerate, but its body appears to.
Its body appears to. It blows up its own pieces of its body, and the flesh will explode on the arena. They will summon a giant dragon head out of their arm, and it will go across the arena, and it will blast against one side. It will then explode, drop puddles on the ground that will expand and explode. It will destroy the arena in a move called Bring Down the House.
And goes ahead and starts firing lines and AoEs.
Yes. It will also then envelop the character in the flesh, which will then explode in turn, or cause a conal attack, or make us move in a specific direction.
So you got to make sure you know what is going to proc for you.
Yeah, and so there's all that. He then does a cruel coil, as Medem calls it, and it will encircle us and keep encircling us, and you gotta run out the gap.
There is a gap, but it will change every rotation. You have like 4 rotations to get out of it timely before it deals massive damage.
Yes, which thankfully most people, the gimmick is basically he will spin into the coil first. He will then spin once again, because you can't move until he does that first spin.
But every time it's like a spin and a quarter. So basically, the exit will always change. It won't be in the same spot. Yeah. So you have to make sure that you're ready to go ahead and dash out before he does the next rotation.
Yes. So basically, he will do the first coil, and so you move out immediately. That's the best option for that fight.
And if you can't, you need to predict where the next one is.
Yeah.
Anyway, he keeps regenerating. And eventually, you do wear him down.
You destroy his health bar, but
it's not over yet.
He regenerates completely back to full health. Not really, but it's thematic.
Right. And so everyone else actually jumps in and tries to go ahead and help fight with you.
Well, actually, that happens in a little bit. I'm talking about the fight itself, where he regenerates and he starts doing an enrage attack, similar to, like, Zeromus.
Oh, yes.
Where it's just the same attack over and over, where it's explosions and stuff, it's huge sweeps, and then you do beat him, and then Metum comes in and reveals everything to us.
So, the president knew that psychonecrosis was actually an ongoing condition with all of his fighters.
And he was actually devastated by this fact.
He, knowing that he is a survivor of Lindblum, went back to Lindblum ruins to try and find out if there was anything that they could use to try and do so, and lo and behold, his family was the one in charge of the drop of life.
specifically the egg of a lindworm, which was the source of the drop of life, to which they used soul technology to extract the soul out of the lindworm egg, and so he infused himself with that soul. However, as a result, he could not turn back because of the lindworm's regenerative ability, and it turns out that he could not be killed or use the lindworm's power to heal anyone.
They basically needed to grow an actual lindworm in order to extract the drop of life. The lindworm egg they couldn't use could not mature because of all the issues from the storm surge. So they used the soul technology to do so, which required implanting it into the president.
Yes.
He took that responsibility on him. They couldn't harvest it because there was basically no one strong enough to go ahead and extract it. Thus, the Arcadion needed to continue on perpetuating until they could find someone strong enough to kill the president, extract the drop of life, and cure everyone else. Because all the people who disappeared, including Eutrope, who was not recovered from the rescue mission,
was put in cold stasis.
Was put in cold stasis, so that way that when a cure was eventually found, they could be healed and return back to their normal lives.
So it turns out that this whole thing was an act. The president was not a
The president was a good guy the whole time.
Shocker! That is not the case in wrestling. Mm-hmm. That is usually not the case.
Oh, we have so many documented details, but I'm not going to go into that because that's depressing.
Yes. Regardless, it turns out that the president wanted to save everyone, and turns out he still can't be killed quite yet, and that's when everyone from the Arcadion comes in and starts hammering on the thing, and shocker of all shocks, who appears but the Brute Bomber.
He was not actually dead.
He was not. And in fact, he says, everyone, lend me your power. And he does something called the Ultra Mega Boom Kick, which was a
tag team move.
A tag team move that he and Ritsara used to do back when their early days as a wrestler.
As tag team. So he actually teams up with you to do it.
Yes, so he gives us all everyone's energy, and we drop kick the Lindworm.
Yes.
And end up defeating it. But it's the Tyrant who gives the final blow because he doesn't want the new champion to sully their hands.
Right.
And so the Lindworm is defeated, the drop of life the core of the Lindworm is dropped, and so the drop of life can be harvested.
Yes, and so everyone is cured of their issues. We also didn't go into this, but as we kept growing up the raids, public support was coming for us, but at the same time it caused public friction about the use of souls in the Arcadion. A lot of people got used to the use of souls for entertainment, and that was at least some of the manufactured resistance against us trying to destroy that system.
Yes.
But Metum also had the cameras on for our fight, showing this is what happens as a result of the soul abuse.
Because he had the camera on the president, who had revealed everything to the viewers.
So everyone knew that the soul system was bad for Alexandria, and sort of basically turned public opinion to not only so that we could stop use of the soul system, but that way everyone else would be okay with it.
Yes. It was all the president's master plan, which honestly kind of props to him.
That kind of booking does not normally happen, and kudos that it worked off as well as it did.
Yeah, because I know some people were not happy that the president turned out to be a secret good guy.
Honestly, the alternative is by far worse, and I'd rather not go down that route for Final Fantasy XIV, especially while we just finished our speech break.
Yes.
So, I feel like that's the important thing for it.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't even fully understand wrestling, but even I got the wrestling tropes. Yes. I understood everything. This was not a super serious campaign.
No, it is not.
This was a fun fucking romp.
Yes, and we have one more bit where we actually have our grand champion ceremony, which is the actual capstone for this. And in true heel fashion, Brute Bomber challenges us to a fight once again because he's not had enough. But this time, Yana steps in for us as she's going to re-challenge now that everyone's basically playing unpowered. The bracket has to start all over again, and so everyone is gonna push themselves for the better or learning to not to rely on souls for entertainment.
Yes, and so there is a impromptu fight with Yana and the Brute Bomber, and Medem is now the new president, pretty much.
Yes.
And so I just love Medem's smile when he says, sadly, with the president gone, it falls to me to register fights. Which is why it's time for an impromptu exhibition!
Yep, that's definitely the showman's way of it. What's also... That basically covers the entirety of the Arcadion. The one thing I will end on is we did Hatching Tide, and I did not expect to see Eutrope, Yana, and Nayuni present as guests.
Oh yeah. Also, Wuklamont and Sphene in rabbit and chicken costumes.
I assume the reason for that is in case that players have not gotten that far, that they can still make an aha in-joke, and that's the only reason they show up in chicken and rabbit costumes, respectively.
Yeah.
Because I wondered that for the longest. I was wondering that because when I first saw that was for the New Year event with the auspices.
Yeah.
And I understand why they do that for them because of what they do for... I forgot what quest it is, but for the range DPS, not range DPS, for the melee DPS role quest.
Ah, right.
Where you have to go through Kugane.
Right.
Like that one I understand because you have the auspices show up in the disguise costume, and that makes perfect sense why they would do that.
Right.
With these two characters, it doesn't make sense until I remember not everyone's going to be there. And so as to not spoil, they're going to go ahead and put them in the costume of anonymity. And then the people who know will know.
Right. Regardless, let's talk about the Arcadion as a whole. Now, my professional wrestling fan, what did you think?
Yeah, that was an incredibly just well done tribute to pro wrestling. It's very much in the same sense of like the Endwalker Manderville is a total, like, we're going to give a love poem to sports anime and sports jokes. Yeah. Like, that's what those gimmicks were. Here, it's just a perfectly loving tribute to pro wrestling because that it is a massive, like, it is very big in Japan, and a lot of wrestlers who want to go hone their skills will go to Japan and participate in the big three there. New Japan, and some of the other programs over there. And so, big props. I think they did all the characters fantastically. Everyone felt unique. Obviously, I liked some more than others. I think the second wing just had the perfect selection of variation. Mm-hmm. And it just, every character was memorable. It stuck out to me, I think, the most, but I also just like it a lot. So, yeah, no notes, just absolute perfect.
Now the question is this your new favorite alliance?
Yeah, 100%, yes.
So better than Pandemonium.
Better than Pandemonium.
Better than Eden.
I'm going to say the fights are better than Eden. I think Eden's story still kicks it out for me because the power of roommates.
Yes, the power of roommates.
And yes, better than Alexander.
Yeah, fair enough. And Omega probably.
Yeah. Although they're all good in their own ways, I think if I had to do it, I'm probably going to say lowest to highest. It's going to be Alexander,
Omega,
Pandemonium,
Eden,
Arcadia. Arcadia, Eden.
Okay, that's a good way to say it. Yeah, I would kind of flip flop between Pandemonium and Eden because I just love Pandemonium so much. Mm-hmm. It was such a fun way to go through, and it was also the first Alliance raid that I went through as a current. Right. So that kind of has a special place in my heart. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like the Arcadion, I remember every single fight. I know the mechanics of these fights. It is the most memorable of the Alliance raids.
And I think that's in part because of the strength of the character development. With all of the other raids, to an extent, they're constrained by what they have to do for the theming of it. With this one, With Pandemonium, I think they got a little bit more leeway because they can basically do whatever for those.
Yeah.
But like Alexander, they had no idea what they were fucking doing with that. So there's a couple of bosses where like thematically this is weird, but we understand why it's here. Omega, they definitely got more liberties, but they definitely stuck it to we're playing the Final Fantasy aha game with this one. So there was only so much they could do. Same thing with Eden, although I will say with Eden, the spice for Eden is the side story. Or is the story, not necessarily the fights themselves.
Right.
Pandemonium is also in a similar vein, although they again got more liberties there. Arcadion, what makes it special is that they really got to basically say every fight is going to be unique and the characters themselves are memorable for their own ways.
Yeah, this is a new high bar for the normal raid series, and it is going to be hard to top this for the next patch, for next expansion.
It really is. So I'm curious to see what, after we go through whatever fresh expansion we get, that is going to be a high bar.
Yeah, we'll actually start finding out about that at the fan fest. We might actually hear about what the first tier is going to be in the fan fest. So that'll be interesting to find out.
Yep.
But yeah, the Arcadion is just wow.
Yep. I have seen the Savages, how those are done. Not looking forward to even attempting those.
Oh, idyllic dream for M12 Phase 2.
Oof.
Yeah. That is a memory. That is a 4-minute memory game.
Ooh. All right.
Well then, so now that the Arcadion is taken care of, we can finally talk about the patch quests, specifically 7.1 to 7.3, and we're starting off with Crossroads.
So we basically, this is just almost right after we finish with Dawntrail's ending, where basically like Luke Lamont wants to go see us, so we go ahead and we answer Royal Summons.
Yeah, we answer Royal Summons, and basically we find out that Alexandria wants to hold a funeral service for Sphene.
Bear in mind, these people have not held a funeral for probably centuries. Not that most of them would remember it.
Yeah.
The only ones who would be somewhat familiar with the funeral rites are those who
are in power.
Well, are in power, or would be like, for example, they were from
Tuliolal
originally and never adopted regulator use.
Yeah.
By the way, we didn't mention this in the earlier section, but Nayuni and Yana, who, as well as most of the other fighters, also abandoned their regulators as well.
Yes, that's true. And also you can find them throughout Solution 9 after you defeat the Arcadion. But that's another thing.
Right.
Let's get back on...
So we go ahead and we discuss going ahead and attending the funeral, but there's still some lingering threads that haven't been answered. Mainly, if Zeralja is Gululja's father, who's his mother?
Who's his mother, indeed?
Because there are very few to almost no known Mamulja in Alexandria.
Yes.
So the presumption would have to be whoever mothered Gululja had to have come with Zeralja.
Yes.
But no one knows where any of his private guard or anyone else who is closely associated to him is.
And so they do a little bit of digging and find out that there's a place out on the other side of Yueyawata that basically was a place that might have served as a base for secret experiments under Zeralja's rule.
Because it wouldn't be something that would be kept within Everkeep.
Yes.
And so we go out to Yueyawata field station to go ahead and see what secrets have been left behind.
And so begins the dungeon of said name, and this one's a fun one.
It's basically like going through a Resident Evil area.
It is Resident Evil, because I'm going to tell you right now, you would have need to have done this dungeon in order to do Hildebrand. Because it comes back.
Oh boy.
But regardless, this dungeon is very Resident Evil coded. The first boss is actually a callback to Final Fantasy IX again.
Yep.
And then the second boss, oh boy, that boss is fun.
Which one is it again?
Director Kaniloka.
Oh, yes.
because of all the spiral attacks. And,
Yes, and he also does injections and whatnot.
and does a dizzy attack that you have to maneuver around a little bit of an obstacle course, otherwise you take a lot of damage.
Yes. And then at the end of the road is an auspice, or Toral Vidral, which is a freaking jackalope.
Yes. Luni Piatti.
Which this little bastard caused so much trouble for our friend...
Lumi?
No, Haruna.
Oh, Haruna.
Haruna hates that boss. Because it does your typical AoE spam and fast-springing attacks, but midway through the fight, it just makes a fucking hole in the ground. And this now becomes edging the boss.
Yes.
Because you basically have to walk around the ring, and it deals with basically either straight line attacks that follow you around the edge, or that manipulate the edge that you have to basically run away to the other side to avoid it.
Yeah, it is. It is a really unique fight, in my opinion.
And if you are not paying attention, you will die.
Yeah. But it's a fight that really taken care of relatively easy.
Dragoons and red mages, beware.
Yes. Oh, I want to see a dragoon try to leap across the canyon.
It's not going to happen. You are just falling with style at that point.
I wonder if a dragoon can even do that.
I'm pretty sure dragoons have tried, and I'm pretty sure those dragoons have failed.
Okay.
Nonetheless, we get an echo at the end of the boss fight, in which we see a Mamulja woman talking with Zeralja. This woman is apparently a Chiurgeon that came along with Zeralja's forces, and has been basically acting as a internal spy to basically loyal to Zeralja against the rest of the Unitwada staff.
Yes.
And what does this woman want in return for basically doing Zeralja's bidding?
She wants that blue dick.
Would it be one or two?
That's a good question.
Let's let the fandom decide that for later. But she is down bad for the autistic man.
Yeah.
For the autistic dino.
Yeah. Oh boy. Like, it is amazing how down bad she is, but regardless, because of that, we learn a couple of things. One, this area was supposed to be learned how to infuse beast souls, which is basically how the Arcadion ended up working.
Right.
We learn that, well, for one, this was a Toral Vidral that Zeralja was supposed to have taken care of, but turns out he just sealed away.
Right. Well, figured he could use the power for his own schemes, and possibly was going to use it to power himself.
Yes. That's probably the case.
We also find out that the Galulja's mother kept diaries within the system, and things did not go well when she tried to introduce Galulja to Zeralja.
Yeah, like, Zeralja had a crash out.
Yeah, aside from the fact that, again, because he was the son of a blessed child, he didn't think he could have kids, but also Galulja's mother was of the opposite tribe. No, she was a regular one, but because of him being a fusion, carrying both tribes' genetics,
she was surprised when the baby had blue scales.
Yes.
And so, also, he was surprised about the baby having blue scales. He was surprised that he even could have a kid. He was shocked because he didn't think he could be a father.
And again, if you remember his comments about not being able to leave anything behind for his son, I imagine this is where this all started.
Yeah.
And so, it's unclear what happened to her. Maybe she died when things went south at Union Awada. Maybe she ended herself. We don't know.
It's very likely that she died because apparently, according to research, there was a gas leak that killed everyone.
Yes.
So
the accident is being charted as the reason why she's no longer around.
Pretty much. And so that's kind of where we leave with Galulja and he...
Childhood trauma from both parents.
God, poor kid. He did not deserve this.
I just want to play Roblox.
Oh, good lord. Regardless, we find out about this later. While we're waiting for this information to happen, Wuklamat and Kona are busy doing some work in Shaloni.
Yes, because you recall that one of the tribes that we were helping out with, which are basically the wandering Mikote tribes of the area.
Yeah.
Basically, they have an issue with the attempts to rebuild the railroad. If you recall from when we attempted to break through Vanguard, we basically sacrificed the only train that we had to break on through to through Vanguard.
Yes, and so
and in doing so, they still needed to not only rebuild a new train engine, but also needed to make repairs to the damages from the attack.
And also, it turns out that the Ronique, which are the animals that the Mikote follow,
Our buffalo analog.
our buffalo analog, are acting a little strange for some reason.
And so, Kona, in an attempt to try and do a bit of Wuklamat's job for once, decides to go out and learn about the culture with us as we go ahead and work with the tribes.
Because we've learned in the past that he basically was abandoned by the tribe, and he has no idea why. Not this tribe specifically, but a tribe.
Yes, and so he has never really connected well with the people, which is he recognizes his main flaw compared to Wuklamat. In an attempt to better himself, he thought that he should go ahead and start trying to get to know his people.
Which he apparently starts to get better at doing. Because we help feed the animals, we rescue them, and sort of things. And then we find out that in the distance, there is a terrible monster known as a Ronique Reaver on the way that is causing all the other Ronique to be very startled and agitated.
Which is pushing them closer to the
train tracks.
To the train tracks to graze, which is the cause of the problem. The solution should then in mind comes to be simple: get rid of the Ronique Reaver. The Ronique go ahead and behave.
Yes. And so it ends up turning into an instance with Wuklamat, Kona, and yourself to take care of the Reaver. And it turns out the Reaver's scales are impossibly hard.
But through some ingenuity on Kona's part, he's able to go ahead and find a weakness and is able to pierce through.
Yes, we actually get to see a really cool sniper animation from him.
Yes.
Which he's definitely a machinist.
Yes. We also find out that the Ronique Reaver has an inherent ability, basically has an ether pulse. That is the reason why the Ronique are able to sense the Reaver's approach.
Yes. And so they try to avoid it. So we take basically their scales and use it to create a sort of silent whistle to kind of push the Ronique away from the train tracks.
Which turns out to be a successful field test upon its use.
Mm-hmm. Which is pretty good. And so...
However, as we clear off the Ronique Reaver, we find out that the last time a Ronique Reaver was sighted was about 20-odd years ago when a secondary tribe of nomad Mikote basically a family basically sacrificed themselves to lure the Ronique Reaver away, only asking that that their only son be taken to safety.
And it turns out that son was Kona. And so Kona ends up getting his resolution.
He confronts his trauma and realizes that he was not abandoned, but instead his parents made a sacrifice to save him. And that gives him closure for what he thought was which was, again, the source of his need to industrialize, believing that the old ways were bad.
Yes, which makes him realize that the old ways aren't bad. It's good to keep them going, and it's good, but it's still good to improve along the way.
Yes. At the end of this, we also unlock custom deliveries.
Yeah, we unlock custom deliveries for Nitoikwe, which is the wife of Magnus's alternate ego.
Magnus's source incarnation.
Yeah, Walikwa.
Walikwa, who doesn't die in this world.
He doesn't die. He doesn't get, and so he doesn't go drunk, and
he doesn't go alcoholic on us. Yes.
Yeah. So with that, we end up going back to Solution 9 because we get for the trauma dump for Gululja.
To go ahead for the trauma dump to Gululja, and then go ahead and attend the state-sponsored funeral. Which turns out to be somewhat pointless because Safine comes back.
Yeah, that's because people are worried about deaths and the like, and so Safine reappears and says, "We should all become endless."
And that's the note. And that's the note that patch ends on.
Yeah, she basically reveals that the funerary regulators that were offered at the funeral will be used to make 5,000 people become endless
if they register with them.
Yes.
And so it turns out there's a lot of people who are on the fence, and a lot of the 7.2 patches basically, how do we deal with death and how do we deal with moving on from it?
Yes.
Because there are a lot of Alexandrians who are so accustomed to their old way of life, they do not know how to cope.
Yes, and so 7.2 begins with Seekers of Eternity, where a few things happen. One, it turns out that not only is this fake Sphene around, the real Sphene, as in the Sphene from 400 years ago, turns out to be alive.
Here's what turns out what happening. The Sphene that we encountered throughout Dawntrail main story quest
Endless Sphene.
Is Endless Sphene. She is a clone copy off of the original Sphene from the time of ancient Alexandria.
Yeah. And
was basically a front for the Mesa Terminal to go ahead and enact its plan to go ahead and merge realities. The second clone of Sphene
is a simulant.
Is a simulant, basically just someone using it as a computer program or hologram. The real Sphene was preserved after the
storm surge.
After the storm surge, and kept in stasis. Should shit go down and they need to reduplicate Sphene as an endless.
Yes.
However, when we shut down the Mesa Terminal, whatever systems were needed to go ahead and keep that Sphene on life support disengaged, and she turned out fine.
Yeah.
And she was able to recover on her own, and now is...
Well, not exactly. She was still suffering from Levin sickness, but thankfully Alize used the porksy to alleviate the symptoms, which is something that a lot of people were wondering if that's what you could do.
Sure enough, we go ahead and we do start to do that in this patch.
Yes.
However, we do have to basically explain everything all over again to this Sphene. We also find out that a lot of people who are regulators forgot that Sphene died.
Yes. More memory alterations.
More memory alterations. We have to explain to Sphene, to the actual Sphene, everything that has gone on. And she, despite basically being out of place because she's been usurped by a faker, insists on coming with us to help apply the cure for Levin sickness to her people.
Yes, she wants to explore the city and learn about its people.
And how fucking things have changed in 400 years.
Yes, and so she gets a new outfit, which is very cute, and it's also reminiscent of Garnet's White Mage outfit from the start of 9.
And we wander around Solution 9. We even visit the kid and his mom from Milos and his mom, and give him some of the porksy treatment as well to go ahead and cure him.
Yes, which is actually very nice. And so, with that happening, the new Sphene waxes philosophically and very melancholy about her state and her place in this new Alexandria.
Only for us to then have to deal with chaos.
Chaos in a sense. What we have to deal with is the simulant Sphene lures us into a trap of sorts.
Because there are secrets underneath Everkeep itself.
Yes, and when we try to follow that fake Sphene, we get hit by the entire city's power grid as a bolt of lightning.
Which hurts, but doesn't down us. And thus, the mastermind behind this fake Sphene is revealed.
Calyx.
Who, as the actual Sphene is able to explain, was a electrope genius from her time, who basically was one of the first people to be converted into an Endless.
And so he was also the founding member of Preservation, the masterminds behind the fake Sphenes and the Endless Sphenes' actions.
Which was also the group that Kryle's parents belonged to before defecting.
Yes. And so he introduces us. He wants the key that we got at the end of 7.0.
Which we're not going to give back to him because it's ours, you bastard.
It is ours. It's got our fucking sun symbol on it.
Don't care. Cope, seethe, hand it over.
No. Fucking mauled, you little brat. But regardless, he wants the key. He's going to do everything in his power to get said key and threatens us with a bad time.
Yes. We go ahead and we tell Shale about the situation, and has reason to believe that Calyx is operating off of terminals from underneath the city.
Based specifically within the old castle that Everkeep was built around,
which leads us to our next dungeon,
the Underkeep, which is an all right dungeon.
It's an all right dungeon. It's decent.
It's not my favorite, but it does have another couple of Final Fantasy IX references, specifically the Gargant for the first boss and the Valiapira for the final boss.
Right. However, Calyx is still not entertained, and he teleports us away from the party to try and deal with us, as he prepares a countermeasure based on his observations of us, as he wants to put us in the ground. And thus he goes ahead and if Otis was the incarnation of Steiner, he brings out this world's incarnation of Beatrix.
Yes, which is Zelenia. I should also mention that Sphene did get whisked away with us, so she is giving narration during the entire fight.
She is Zelenia the Undefeated.
And what plays is a remix of Roses of May, which is Beatrix's theme, which I really enjoy.
It is a very nice theme, and people point out this is the first time you've been able to actually ever beat an incarnation of Beatrix.
Yes.
She is a supposed to lose fight in Final Fantasy IX.
Yep.
Which was frustrating to many people who were first coming across this for the first time.
Regardless, her fight is pretty intense. Her main gimmick is she will summon sigils on the ground that will electrify, and you got to make sure you're not on them when they go off.
Yes.
She does wide sweeps. She will drop puddles that you have to get out of. It's not a difficult fight, but if you don't know what you're doing, you will eat shit.
Yeah. At the end of the fight, Calyx is disappointed, but basically says he has no need for the digital Sphene anymore, as he's basically satisfied with the conditions met for the next step of his project. He does leave behind the Queen Sphene crown regulator as a present, and basically fucks off.
Yeah, and so everyone ends up finding us again. We explain what happens, and Shale ends up looking into the terminal to see if there's anything that we can use. Probably not much, but still something.
Sphene also asked if she could get a copy of her spell book. She explains that she was studying magic prior to being overtaken by Levin sickness, and she would like to assist the party in any way she can.
Which will come up in the next patch. But with this patch over and done with, well, I guess we should just go into the next patch, huh?
Before we do that, I want to take a moment and talk about Calyx as an antagonist, because he is the antagonist for this half of the patch.
Oh yeah, the emo boy.
A lot of comparisons I would say we could make to Asahi.
Yeah.
He's got that young, punchable face, but whereas Asahi is incredibly dynamic and very much plays both sides because he's an actor, which we later find out why that's the case, which makes sense for him.
Yeah.
Whereas Calyx is the exact opposite. Calyx is stone cold. He is methodical. The only reason he wants to study you is because he wants to make sure that he can come up with a numerical counter to you in the most scientifically bland way possible. He takes no pleasure in having to. He sees you as an annoyance and is annoyed that you are not seeing the logic in his thinking.
Yeah, he's trying to turn people into endless in order to advance humanity and bring about their next stage of evolution.
Which is very fitting because he's just an 11-year-old. He's basically an 11-year-old cancer patient.
Yeah.
He is portrayed still in his hospital clothes with an
IV in his neck.
IV in his neck. And everything he messes with is just the programs in cyberspace just to go ahead and interact with the world. We never at any point throughout this patch or the next patch lay a hand on this fucker. And I think that's what ends up being the problem, is that Asahi can be punched and he can be stabbed. This little fucker doesn't have any of those consequences coming to him.
No.
Yet.
Yes. He is basically locked in cyberspace, and you can't punch cyberspace, but you can punch the computer that holds him.
Well, until he jumps to a bigger computer, and that's basically what the situation is for now.
Yes. Well, and so we will go into patch 7.3, The Promise of Tomorrow.
So basically, we start finding out that Calyx is still activating or still controlling the scenes from somewhere else.
Oh, we should also mention that during this past patch, he took control of the sentries of Everkeep and started attacking random people.
Yes, and Gululja, despite having the authority of the king of Resolve, could not stop it. So the reason that Calyx is able to do this is because Preservation's override can override even the King of Resolve.
Yes,
which causes a lot more people to become panicked about death again, feel that they cannot trust either Sphene or Gululja, and makes more of them want to sign up for regulators.
Yep, and so in the next patch, we actually find out more. We team up with Geode, who we are investigating what happened in the attack. And it turns out that people without regulators were the main targets.
Now, we try to go ahead and talk to people to see if they can remember that, but the only people we talk to are with regulators, and they don't remember those details at all. However, we do come across a priest who we met earlier in the last patch, who's basically able to confirm, yeah, I went to go to try and tend to one of the victims for death rites, and all I saw was basically a pile of dust.
Yeah.
Which leads to another outbreak attack that occurs with Geode.
Yes.
We have to go ahead and save Milos and his mom from being attacked, and then we chase after Geode, only for Geode to get ambushed and try to basically report back to Shale and the rest of the party that the soldiers aren't just killing indiscriminately, they are actually absorbing non-regulator users to absorb their ether.
Which is basically, they're trying to take the living ether, which will basically help fuel more Endless.
Right. And unfortunately, poor Geode sacrifices his life to get this information out.
He basically gets tricked because one of the mechanical soldiers disguised himself as an old man.
Yes.
And so, I should also mention that the mechanical soldiers, now that they've been removed of weapons, are trying to go after people with their bare hands, and it is fucking terrifying.
Yep. Again, they kept some of the lessons they learned from Shadowbringers, and they have applied them properly here.
Yeah, I will tell you right now, patch 7.2 and 7.3 saw a massive increase in the cutscene quality compared to 7.1 and some of Dawntrail. So, I got to admit, I'm loving where they're going with this.
They're definitely paying attention to a lot more of the details.
Okay.
But as far as that's concerned, Shale is incredibly impacted by Geode's death, and after talking with her, we basically go back to the outskirts hideout to go ahead and have a drink to Geode's passing, and she basically explains how she and Geode both met up and how they both joined Oblivion.
Yeah, it turns out Shale used to be a fucking escort.
And Geode was a drunk client at one point.
And they came to blows and ended up punched out on the floor before they met Kakiwa.
Yep.
Which is kind of funny. Also, it's kind of funny that they're trying to make us care for Geode.
I mean, Geode was even less... So, Shale kind of is in a weird spot because she's kind of the character for Oblivion now that Kakiwa's passed.
Yeah.
And even then, Geode was the next known... He basically served as the Thancred for the group.
Yeah.
But he got less screen time than Shale. And even when we found the Geralt of that world...
Yeah.
He got less screen time than him.
Yeah. We had a whole quest with fucking Geralt.
Weird.
Geralt.
Still fucking weird.
Yeah. And so...
But I know that people have some endearance to Shale, and female Elzen representation is few and far between.
Especially Duskwhite Elzen.
Mm-hmm. So, got to give them kudos for that at the very least.
Yeah. So,
more people come out to go ahead and pay their respects to Geode. There's actually a funny dialogue where we can actually pass on the drink because of our experiences back in Heaven's Word.
Yeah. With that happening, let me double check the quests. I think from here on, we actually go back to Oblivion and the backrooms, and we find out that there's a location within Everkeep that was like a home base for preservation.
And so we go ahead and we access it through the elevator system to see if we can't find anything connected to Calyx.
And so we end up into an instance where there's a lot of puzzle solving.
It basically involves item fetching, number manipulation, switches, your typical puzzle fare.
Which apparently stumps some people. And I'm like, really? Have you never played another game?
It's amazing, but it's like it's not too bad. The logic isn't too bad. The first one is a number puzzle, which basically requires us to denote certain numbers in order to figure out a locker combination. The next one is using sliding switches to set a power circuit en route. The third one is an item gathering, where we basically have to do a mini fetch quest to determine a series of passwords that need to be entered simultaneously, requiring you to give the right answers to other players to implement at the same time. It's also during this time that we come across the director of preservation and find out he is a massive Calixaboo.
Yeah.
And let me just say, given the times we live in, no one should have that many posters of a young child in their locker.
Yeah. I love the fact that when you open it, you just close it and say, you saw nothing of note.
And you attempts to open the locker, says, you have no reason to open this locker again. As if to purposely just fuck with us.
Yeah, and so we actually get a look at the director through a security footage where he talks with someone who is thinking of leaving preservation, and then he goes ahead and murks them.
And then murks the security camera footage.
Yes.
Preservation was in fact about that lifestyle, which is why Kryle's parents had to go ahead and escape with her the way that they did.
And so, after unlocking the hidden room in the director's office, Shale begins to search for answers, and then Calix shows up and says, "Time's up. Let's see what you did." And it turns out it was a waste of time.
Okay, what we found out in the secret room is that they had been trying to basically re-engineer the key that was obtained from the Milala clans, and therefore figure out from a more scientific edge how to actually use it.
To which they still couldn't figure it out properly, but eventually Kryle's parents stole it, and they had to shut down the entire office, pretty much.
Operation, and they basically, the remaining members of Preservation basically uploaded themselves into the Mesa terminal.
And at this point, I guess we can just go ahead and confirm that most of Preservation is dead, save for Calix.
Right. So Calix basically says, all right, I've waited enough. Your time limit has basically run out. I'm going to start my plans. To which it's revealed that the 5,000 registered Neo-Regulator users have been acquired, and therefore they're going to begin their massive plan to basically restart the system for those 5,000 souls.
Yeah, and he says, if you want to stop me, I'm in the Meso Terminal. Come here and fight me if you want.
So that leads us, we go back to the Mesa Terminal, we go ahead and we enter it once again, this time to challenge Calix.
Yes, in the dungeon proper. And this dungeon is pretty fun. It goes through flashbacks of various points in Alexandria's time, kind of like the Alexandrian dungeon.
But more just from the point of which Safine's reign ended to its modern incarnation.
Yes. And so we fight against a mad doctor. We then fight against 4 executioners in a dungeon.
The executioner fight is interesting because it's actually a series of one-on-ones.
Yeah. The DPS have to take care of a generator that will cause massive tick damage to them. The healer has to deal with a doom dot on them. Mm-hmm. The tank has to deal with both a tank buster and an interrupt.
All the while, Calix is actually using souls from the Mesa Terminal and basically rigging them to think that you're the thing that caused their death, and that's the reason they're fighting you.
Yes, and they're not even fully created. You don't even see their faces.
Oh, that just brought me back to freaking when Elidibus basically did the same thing with the massive summoning of Warriors of Light.
Yeah, at least those had faces. They had their souls, but yeah, this is kind of fucked up in a way.
Well, also, I mentioned this theory to you when we were running through the dungeon. There's a character in Apothecary Diaries, of all things, that, for plot reasons, has an issue with facial recognition.
Oh, really?
And they also are they also have a high dose of the tism. And I think that might also be Calix's deal. But Calix's is self-inflicted because after 400 years of basically being a computer program and having fuck all interaction with people, he's like, why do I even care?
Yeah. It's not that he can't identify faces, he just doesn't care.
A bit of column A, bit of column B is my argument, but...
Well, I don't think he has prosopagnosia, but who cares?
I think it's funnier if he does.
Okay. Well, we'll find out if he does or not, but regardless, the final fight is an amalgamation of all the memories of the giant entity, and it goes through scenes of the end of the storm surge. But then, as soon as we get to the main terminal that holds everyone's memories...
And including Calix's,
he reveals himself and says, well then, let's go on with the true test.
And reveals that those neo-regulators, they're basically tempering devices.
They temper everyone who is registered, and then they start praying to a god of death. And so, from that... Calix uses the energy from the lightning in the ninth and creates a concept, not just an actual primal, but a concept of a primal, which means that he has been getting information directly from an Ascian.
Yep, and thus he brings about Necron.
The final boss of Final Fantasy IX, and oh boy, that is a fight.
So, even without it being a trial... This guy is nuts.
Yeah, so his main gimmick is there's a couple of Doom mechanics where you have to deal with ads and then escape a living hell area in order to avoid the Doom. There's ghost hands that if they grab you will drag you back into that arena. And then his main thing is crop rotation, where he does an in-out mechanic. And you will see the order where it's either odds or evens for the ins and outs. He will then rotate that whole pattern, and you have to figure out which one it's landing on.
Yep.
So like say the ins are evens, and he lands on an odd. You have to go out because of that.
Yes.
That is that really fucks up people. Also, I forget what it's called, but like Grand Cosmos or something?
Yes.
Which is, he makes a tiny arena and there's circling lasers around. It is one hell of a fight.
Yeah, so, needless, it probably is like very, I would say, in comparison to all the patch quests, it comes up as powerful as the fucking Dragon Song fight that you have with
Nidhogg.
With Nidhogg, yeah.
Yeah, it is a primal. It is a fun fight. It is also a primal, so that means that we have to give Wuklamot and Sphene the talismans to prevent them from being tempered.
Right. It also means that technically he can come back as long as there's enough souls in Ether.
Yes,
which Calix seems to take advantage of incredibly well because he's an optimized math fucker.
Yes, he basically says, I will drain this whole planet of lightning if it means I can kill you.
And proceeds to do so. And all the meanwhile, he's going to go ahead and upload a backup just because he knows that we're trying to go ahead and kill him.
Yeah, well, it's not so much a backup, he's trying to transfer himself. Because he actually states himself he does not believe memory should be duplicated. Because that is one of his core tenets. Which is surprisingly... I don't know what I would say, but it's surprisingly kind of him to say that. Like, he doesn't believe that memory should be duplicated.
It's this idea of the preservation of self that if he dies, he's done. He is dying for good. There's not going to be any backup that just comes floating around.
Yeah, he doesn't want to dilute himself. That's the word. There
you go. He's not going to create a Chippy Theseus problem. Nonetheless, the rest of the party rushes in. And Wuklamot is struggling to do everything she can to break through the barrier that's separating the party from the backup storage as this memory upload process is occurring.
To which Sphene actually joins in and helps Wuklamot by giving her axe lightning.
Which, with the power of friendship and Yuri, manages to start chipping away at the barrier.
To which I should also mention that Wuklamot is really beating herself up trying to break this barrier. Her hands are bleeding.
She is gripping the axe with enough strength that she is actually crushing her own bones. Mm-hmm. That is what's happening here. And she does eventually manage to push through with the help of eventually the rest of the party swaps us fighting Necron and allows us to go ahead and help finish off the barrier right as the upload process is hitting 99%.
Yes, I should also mention that this is something that you don't really see often in this game, where your character actually helps and interacts with the fight. Usually they're standing off to the side.
While the cutscene is... Well, usually because we've just, done the bulk of the fight.
Yes.
At least everyone else can go ahead and chip in now.
But instead, we actually get to do the final blow on the terminal, which actually changes depending on which job you're in.
Yep. And you can see right before impact, there's just a twinge of fear in Calix's face.
Yes, we traumatized a little bitch.
Yep. And so seemingly we seem to have done mission accomplished. The people who were once tempered are somewhat in stasis, but we've dealt with tempering before, so it's a matter of just rebalancing the ether.
Dishing out the porksies.
The people have realized that, maybe these regulators are kind of a meh thing, and that they also do realize that the Sphene that has been following us is the real Sphene, and that the one that was speaking to them was a bunch of fakers.
Yeah.
And that the only reason that people stopped giving their power to Necron is because our Sphene gave a message to the people of hope rather than the fake Sphene giving a message of despair.
Yes, because of Sphene giving that message, Necron was weakened enough that the party could actually deal with it.
Yes.
And so, now that all that's taken care of, we actually have a bit of a time skip. One of the rare few times in this game that there's an actual time skip.
Like 2 weeks?
About 2 weeks.
I believe during this time, Raha and Kryl are basically helping with the Tempered and the Lebensick.
And basically finishing up the report to send to the students of Baldessian.
Right, because we still have to go ahead and tell everyone, oh, hey, there's a new continent on here, guys. Don't worry about where it's from.
Yeah, there's a new nation.
Oh, yeah.
There's a new hyper-advanced technological civilization.
Also, Calix lets it hint that this is that finally that confirms what we've all been thinking, that this is a shard, specifically the 9th shard.
Yes.
We initially only referred to it as the Unlost Realm.
The Unlost World.
The Unlost World, via Wuklamot's suggestion. We have now confirmation that this Alexandrian Everkeep is from the 9th shard.
Yes.
And that is why the Levin sickness has occurred.
Yes.
And I think that more or less covers it.
Aaronville
says that he basically has had enough adventure for one day and says he's going to go fuck off.
Yeah, he's basically going to go and do what his mom asks of him and explore the world. We should also mention that it turns out that everyone's memories weren't deleted; they were just sealed away, and that by restarting all of I forget what it's called. Living Memory. By restarting Living Memory, you can basically allow for people to regain their memories. So they're doing an initiative where people says, hey, if you want your memories back, we can give them to you.
And they start to learn how to process trauma properly.
Yes.
The last bit, I think, basically just ends with Wuklamot being initially bedridden per Kona being the Syscon that he is. But our Pelu friend managed to spring her out so that way she, the Warrior of Light, and Sphene can go ahead and gaze upon Living Memory with everything seemingly resolved.
Yeah. I should also mention that I was surprised that they actually brought back Living Memory as it used to look, but actually better now because that is the proper skybox.
Yeah, and I think they knew, like, we don't want to make this another Amarat situation because that's what Amarat is. But but actually build upon it and say, let's go ahead and give this a proper good ending.
Yeah, because to be honest, I wouldn't have been surprised if they just let Living Memory
remain as it is.
Because it was like that for a whole year pretty much.
Yeah. So
I know you didn't get to experience that, but going through doing fates in that area and gathering materials and stuff to sell on the market board, it felt depressing as hell.
I can imagine. So that's more or less 7.3.
Oh, but there's a teaser at the end of 7.3.
Calyx actually survived. Barely.
Barely, and traumatized.
Yeah, the fucker does not want to go ahead and fight us again. He realized what death actually is, and he does not like it, his nihilistic ass.
And he actually cracks. We actually see him fucking crack.
And then he goes ahead and says, now what are you going to do to help me out of this one?
To which an Ascian appears behind him. He says, already figured out that I failed. Oh, you can smell the stench of failure. Oh boy. Yes, I will give my report. Be sure our winter peers are aware of the business.
And thus we get hinted for 7.4.
Which we could go into.
But we figure that that's going to be better saved once we actually have an idea of where we're going. But we have done both up to 7.4, which is the current patch, and we have finished what is presently available for the Alliance raids. Yes. The Alliance raids we're not touching until that's complete. Same thing with freaking Manderville.
Yeah, Manderville's not happening till 7.55.
And as well as MSQ. So that's basically what we'll cover the next time we actually get a patch. But that's actually going to be for quite some time now, isn't it?
Yeah, this podcast might actually be going on a little bit of a hiatus for a bit.
3 years and about 2.5 months.
That's how long it's taken us to get current.
How long it's taken me to get current?
Yes.
You've been getting current as it happens.
Yes. So, wow. I'm actually surprised we actually made it.
It has been a journey, that's for sure.
Do you regret it?
Not at all. I do wish ARR was more friendly to people, but I think that they're working on that.
As someone who went through ARR as a Lalafell, the only real bad part is getting to Titan.
Getting to Titan and the new height difference.
Yes. Which, once I finished I should mention that I didn't mention this at the start, but I've been learning Pictomancer. Yes,
you have talked to me about that. How are you liking the magic class for that?
It is very interesting. It's definitely a lot more freeform, and there is downtime where you have to make your muses, so to speak, which you can use to activate other spells. But your DPS does not drop just for making those muses.
I have played a little bit of it because there is an instance where you play as Kryl in 7.4, to which I see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I decide that I want to mix it up from Red Mage, I might pick up Picto myself.
It's definitely more forgiving than Black Mage, I'll say that much.
Yeah, because which dungeon was it that we had that terrible Black Mage? I think we were doing a rerun of the Peak in Stormblood.
Yeah.
No. It was actually we've had two bad ones. One was for the Endwalker. The patch dungeon for Shadowbringers into Endwalker.
Yeah.
That was one of them where we had like a terrible Black Mage. And then the other one, I think it was Yasolani.
Yeah.
It was like Yasolani where we had that terrible freaking Black Mage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see why that would be easier in comparison. So that might be a consideration. But right now, I'm still just getting adjusted to the the Great Closet update.
Oh yeah.
Right, I forgot about the last update for that.
Oh really?
The Great Die Upsurge.
Oh yeah, the die change is happening pretty soon.
So what they're gonna do now is normally if you want to dye anything, you have to buy the specific dye and hope that you get the right shade. You can try out the shades without it, but you can't apply it until you buy the specific paint that you need.
Yes.
However, they are revamping the dye system to basically reduce the amount of clutter that you have to keep on you. Instead of you needing like 80-something different dyes, it's now going to be reduced to 3.
It's going to be reduced to 3. One's for all the ARR dyes, one for all the Ishgard Restoration dyes, and one for all the Cosmic Exploration dyes.
So basically, you're only going to have to worry about 3. When this patch gets rolled out, you basically just go to the Calamity Salvager, and you can swap out your old dyes for new dyes.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that to happen because that will make figuring out glamours a lot more fun.
And it will be a lifesaver for everyone's retainers and chocobo saddlebags.
Yeah, because I have a lot of dye in my retainer, and I hate having to just bring it out all the time.
Yeah.
If it's just down to 3, I can just keep it in my Chocobo saddlebag and pop it out when I need it.
Exactly, and even then, for me, like, yeah, I keep a small amount of them on there, and even then, that's so much better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's basically where we're at. We're probably we're probably coming back for 7.55.
Or actually, do you want to do a podcast after they do the fan fest?
We might do a podcast after the fan fest, just because that's going to probably have a lot of our content, and then we can decide how to go from there. We still need to do, aside from those, I have been going back, doing some of the Allied Society quests, but I'm still just grinding them up just because it's more of a side thing.
Yeah, don't worry. That's more of a thing you can do on the daily.
Yeah.
So don't worry about those.
But we do have probably the fan fest.
Yeah, which will be next month.
And we still have the other podcast you and I have to do.
Yes, we need to figure out a date to do that. I know.
All right, but I would say that one's probably going to release first.
It probably will, so we'll probably find a day in the next week or so.
Next week or a couple of weeks or so.
Yeah.
But until then, this is Leo.
And this has been Ray.
Signing off.
Later, guys, and have a good day.